If we're being honest, a lot of the people running your AI program now should have been fired for what they did to your cloud program. Instead, they got promoted. Let me show you exactly how that happened and why you're about to pay for it again. So, welcome back to the Cloud Computing Insider. If you're new, my name is Dave, a cloud and AI SME, best-selling author, speaker, tech influencer, and experienced technology executive. Let's get going. So as someone who's watched enterprises stumble through cloud adoption over the last 15 years, wrote books about it as well, I'm now watching the same movie play again with AI. The executives who treated cloud as somebody else's data center now treat AI as somebody else's intelligence, something you buy, not something you build and govern. So ultimately, I'm kind of sounding the alarm here based on lots of people who reached out to me, and it's anecdotal information, and I'm not going to name specific companies and things like that, but many of the executives who screwed up cloud computing for, many of these global 2000 companies, and certainly the government organizations as well, are now in charge of AI. And in essence, they're ramping up to make the same mistakes. And so it's interesting to me how that happened. In other words, the metrics that came out of some of the cloud computing deployments, hugely negative in terms of the value that we're able to bring back to the business. In other words, lift and shift and moving things into the cloud, willy-nilly without a good strategy is figuring out how these things are going to run and scale and have an optimized architecture. And so many enterprises, the enterprises paid, 3 to 4 times, the amount of money that they should have paid for cloud computing. Now, the same people who made those mistakes are facing AI projects and AI strategies. So they burned billions on misguided cloud migrations that increased complexity without delivering proportional business value, and almost none were held accountable. So now they're in charge of AI with even less transparency and even bigger promises. This isn't random. It's a repeatable pattern of incentives, politics, and wishful thinking masquerading as digital transformation. So people always ask me, well, why does this stuff occur? Why do companies make these mistakes over and over again? I don't think they really have a clear understanding of the missteps they made prior. They haven't done a postmortem and said, hey, the cloud strategy we carried out for the last 10 years, we really screwed the pooch on that. And it didn't bring a lot of value back to the business, in fact, to remove value. None of those discussions are typically happening at the levels that there need to be happening. In other words, at the board of directors and C-levels, things like that. And so many of these bungled, cloud strategies have been hidden, swept under the rug. And so nobody got fired. In many cases, they got promoted. And we have CIOs out there and different titles, things like that. Enterprise architects, they were, chief cloud strategy person at the enterprise, another chief AI officer at the same enterprise. Are kind of gearing up to, I think, make the same blunders they made around cloud computing. And the interesting thing to me is how we got here, not necessarily the fact that they're doing it, but the fact of the matter is that there wasn't any accountability for the most part. Some people were held accountable. And now many of the enterprises, I think, are going to be facing at the reality, they're going to make the same mistakes. So enterprise IT leaders treated cloud as a flashy, outsourced, and cost-shifting deal instead of deep architectural and operating model transformation. So failure was really kind of baked in from day one. Didn't do the homework, didn't hire the right people, didn't hire the right talent. And of course, in many cases, people will come to me and say, well, we didn't know. We were new to cloud just like everybody else. Well, there were enough people out there who know how to deploy and architect these cloud solutions. The reality is they chose to chase vendors, chose to chase the path of least resistance, and chose to chase incentives, and that's where they ended up screwing up. They weren't looking out for the business; they were just looking out for their own, political realities within the company. They're trying to push themselves in the best possible benefit, so they could leverage that into something that was good for them. So what do the numbers look like? Well, according to Flexera, 30% of cloud spend is wasted. And this includes multiple years, including 2023. I suspect 2024 was basically the same, and also 2025. Consistently show enterprises self-reporting about 28 to 30%, 32% of cloud spend is wasted due to idle resources, over provisioning, and lack of governance. Now, we're just talking about operational inefficiencies, that are in there, which obviously is hugely expensive. Many people are spending many millions of dollars a month on cloud-based resources. And if those resources aren't burned efficiently and they have no understanding of what's happening, they don't have FinOps programs in place, they don't have cost governance in place, then it's just a huge waste of money. And so in many cases, when I'm auditing enterprises out there that are using cloud computing, in other words, what would be their optimized architecture, their optimized solution versus where they are now, they're spending 3 to 4 times as much money in operating the systems. And obviously that's money that flows out of the organization and which could be used for other purposes, could be used for hiring more people, acquiring companies, buying different technologies, doing AI pilot projects, things like that. But it's not, it just goes away. So outcomes are bad enough that many of these leaders should have been fired. Yet most were rewarded or promoted because nobody wanted to admit the cloud strategy had failed. And I think this really where it comes right down to. In other words, in order to hold somebody accountable, you have to hold the whole organization accountable. Obviously, it's a reflection of the CEO and the CIO and board of directors and everybody else who hired this person who made many of these bad decisions. By the way, it may not be a person, could be a consulting organization, could be a group of people that came into the organization and, made mistakes. So if they get rid of them and that becomes known, obviously it reflects poorly on them. And so that's why, in many of these cases, they fail upward. In other words, they fail, huge failure. And even if you're a consulting firm, you can kind of have the same protection, but they're not going to admit that they failed. And so therefore, they push you forward. And obviously, if you're staying at a company or you're employed at a company for a long period of time, you're eventually going to expect promotions or else people are going to start asking questions. And that's how in many cases, these hugely poor decisions, which I watched firsthand, that were made by some of these large organizations, the people who made the decisions, against better advice, namely me, still there. And now they're moving into setting up their AI strategy for failure. So boards and CEOs lacking real technical literacy outsource judgment to the same executives and big vendors who architected the original mess. So we're just going back to the same culprits, who were initially, made or caused cloud issues in the company. And so now we're still looking at cloud. We're still trying to optimize and modernize a cloud, a cloud usage, and many companies are repatriating, systems and normalizing systems and using, the alt cloud platforms. We've been talking about that here on this channel for 2 years. But now that we're heading into AI, the same sort of issues are popping up. So we're getting into a new area, very much like cloud was 15 years ago, where people didn't understand how to leverage the technology in an optimized way. And so they just ran after the paths of least resistance. They ran after recommendations and frameworks that the big consulting providers have, that with a stack of, AI players that they're able to use and just adopt it into their problem domain. And in many cases, trying to figure out the simple solutions is going to lead to the overspending, the under-optimization. Now, the problem is with AI is where cloud computing, it could have been 3 or 4 times the amount of money operationalized or deployment-wise in terms of us setting up these cloud systems. That's not great, but it's not going to kill you. But in many cases, these AI-based systems are going to be 10, sometimes 20 times the cost of traditional systems. And that will kill you. So you start doing that at scale, you're going to find not only are you going to be making a lot of money go away, where the value is not coming back to the business, but you're also going to position yourself as a company who's not able to take advantage of AI as a strategic differentiator for the business, and that can completely kill your business. So not only do you miss the AI opportunity, which many organizations are trying to figure out right now, including your competitors, but you're wasting a lot of money in doing so. So I think a lot of companies are heading in that path right now. So they're repeating the worst sins of cloud in AI. No data discipline, no governance, no clear business case, and just hype metrics and, vagueness in terms of the defined, transformations need to occur. So everyone wants to move to AI, generative, agentic, things like that. But I think if you talk to many of these executive leaders, they don't know exactly what that means. In other words, they don't know the use cases they're going to attack within their organizations. What are the top, 10 priorities in terms of building and automating, systems using AI augmentations, and really where the strategic differentiators are for the business. And without that knowledge, you're going to end up misapplying the resources. You got to remember, organizations only have a certain pile of money. And so it's not unlimited. They don't print money in the basement. And so if they're going to move after these technologies as strategic directions for the company, if they move in the wrong direction, that ordinance is going to be disposed of, and you're not going to be able to get that money back. And in many cases, in making these mistakes, they're not going to be fixable. So high AI project failure rates, 80 to 90% range. Really what we're seeing out there is really the concerning thing that I'm seeing. So in other words, we're having data that's coming back to us based on surveys and the analyst firms that are in the marketplace and, making these measurements right now. And some, I'm seeing anecdotally as a, single person business that most of the AI projects, even beyond a natural failure rate, are failing. 95%, according to MIT, 80 to 90%, this according to Gartner. And I probably think it's more like, 90 to 95%, based on what I'm seeing out there. And people are coming to me and telling me about their failed AI ventures, their failed AI projects. So Gartner, the venture beat, and others have cited figures in the neighborhood of 80 to 85% of AI and data science projects failing and never making it to production. Often is quoted as saying, 10 to 15% reach production or delivery sustained business value. So allowing architects of your cloud debacle to lead, the AI transformation is, at a much larger scale of spend, risk, and public visibility. We talked about that. You can really do some damage in misappropriating AI resources. And not only the fact you're going to waste money, which is bad into itself, but again, you're going to miss some of the AI strategic opportunities for the business. Many companies, I think, moving forward for the next 10, 15 years are going to be judged based on their ability to leverage AI effectively. In other words, provide better, customer experiences, better, production, cheaper and more efficient, logistics and all these kinds of things that will set them apart in the business that they're in, pharmaceuticals, healthcare, manufacturing cars, banks, all that kind of stuff. And if you miss that and your competitors don't, you're done. Of course, people say, well, should we use consultants? Well, I don't think high-priced consultants are the answer here. So you remember that we need to own the strategy for the company. And for outsourcing that to a consulting organization to do that in kind of in a turnkey way, and the knowledge is going to remain with them. And also typically we're using, some kind of a, out-of-the-box framework and, tech stack, AI tech stack they're providing. Most of the time, that's not going to be the right solution for your company. Sometimes it will, but most of the time it won't be. So you're going to end up spending a lot of money with one of the big consulting companies that are basically promoting, whatever they think is going to be the out-of-box AI solution that's going to meet everybody's needs, including yours. And you're going to end up with something that's extremely under-optimized and could be not strategically viable for your business. So this keeps happening because enterprise culture punishes technical dissent and rewards optimistic PowerPoints. So the people who warned about cloud failures are marginalized again and again, and will happen on AI as well. And I'm seeing this happen in the culture with many of these companies. So, a lot of the smarter people in these companies that are raising the alarm that they're moving in the wrong direction were the ones who raised the alarm that they're moving in the wrong direction with cloud, and aren't necessarily the ones who are going to be listened to. There's typically within a lot of organizations, they don't like negativity. And so if someone's pushing back on something and say, we're doing something incorrect here, and this is not going to end well, history is not going to, value what we're doing here and the decisions we're making, they'll be pushed out of many of the meetings, and they're not necessarily going to be the ones who are listened to versus, the big consultants and, the strategic advisors and the, C-level folks in many of these companies that have very aggressive PowerPoint presentations that look really good. And people follow those because it's easier to follow a very positive, PowerPoint presentation, an AI strategy that's in a box versus follow somebody who's basically alerting you to the fact there's a lot of work that needs to be done to find strategic advantage with any technology, cloud computing and AI. So let me know what you think in the comments if I'm off base or something. I'm just kind of raising the alarm here that I'm seeing many of the same patterns, that I saw 10, 15 years ago with cloud and by many of the same leaders. Not always, but, it just seems to be more of a common pattern where I see it 3 or 4 times a week these days. And by the way, these aren't bad people. I think legitimately they think they're making the right decisions and made the right decisions around cloud. There was just no accountability or metrics, to figure out if what they did was something that was optimized for the business, and nor do they want to look into it because, no news is good news, so to speak. But now that we're moving into AI, we're seeing some game-changing things. In other words, there's only a certain pile of resources that these companies have. They have to spend it in the right strategic directions, leveraging the right strategic technologies, where misspending in cloud computing 10 years ago, certainly hurt the business. And there's under-optimization of the cloud computing resources these days. And we're trying to normalize that and modernize that. But doing so in the AI space is going to kill you. We'll take the business right out. And I do see a lot of businesses, going away in 5 to 10 years, and we do a postmortem on why that business went down. They're going to reflect on the fact that we misspent our IT resources and we moved after AI in the wrong directions. And our competitors stepped up, did not do that. They were able to leverage AI as a true force multiplier, and they beat us. Well, anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my other videos on this channel. Also, check out my InfoWorld Cloud Computing blog, my 100+ LinkedIn learning courses, and, of course, my Generative AI Architecture course out on Go Cloud Careers. And finally, my latest books, Unlocking the Power of Cloud and An Insider's Guide to Cloud Computing. So until next week, stay very, very safe. The magical YouTube algorithm thinks that this is another one of my videos that you should watch now. Take care, guys.